She hates me like others. Look out! The lever! Get away from that lever! You'll blow us all to atoms! Henry! Under the door! Henry! Get back! Get back! I won't unless you come! But I can't leave them, I can't! Yes, go! You live! Go! You stay! We belong dead.
What are they? What are they? They're here. Oh, they've come for me. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready.
Let me pop open this nice Diet Coke. Damn, I feel like I'm at my grandparents' house drinking Diet Coke. But you know what? It's cold and it's fucking tastes great, and I'm very grateful that you had Diet Coke. Thank you so much.
That is such an oddity for me to have Diet Coke.
It's because of Sean.
Yeah, because I don't buy diet drinks because I think they're full of poison and death.
Well, they're worse than the sugary ones.
Exactly. So I'm drinking smart water in hopes that it will make me smarter. I'm sure that the listeners also hope that it will make me smarter.
What makes smart water smart? Sponsor the show. Smart.
It's, just smart to drink water, I guess. I don't know.
guess.
Stay hydrated, kid.
10 seconds
Yeah.
for our Lord and Savior Harambe.
Harambe.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Drop Culture Podcast Thursday edition.
Thursday edition. Every edition's the Thursday edition.
Yes. Good morning, good evening, whenever you're listening to us. How you guys out there? This week we had a plan to do a certain episode, which we're gonna vet that one out a little bit more. So we pulled an Omaha here.
Yeah, Omaha.
So we decided to go with something a little bit different. This week we're gonna do our top 5 favorite monster movies.
I'm starting with a documentary about John Elway.
Yes, he was a monster.
He's a monster.
He was a press box monster.
All the people here in Colorado will love it.
Yes. They will fucking string us up by our testicles.
Yes.
And put us on that fucking one section of the Denver Broncos stadium that's all metal.
Trust me, I already tell them I'm a Ravens fan, and now I get like the looks like
Ravens, you say?
You beat us and went to the Super Bowl that one year. Awesome. Yeah, I remember that. It was great.
Yeah. I'm not a football enthusiast. There are some times that I do like to watch football, but you know what I like to watch more?
Hold on. I don't.
Monster movies.
Hey, that works out because we're about to do an episode
I know,
about
right?
our top 5 monster movies.
Hey, go figure, right?
Hey, that was a smooth transition. You are a smooth operator, sir.
Smooth operator. I was listening to the rap hits of the early 90s earlier today at work. Oh, God. Slam. Da, 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 da.
Let the boys be boys.
I'm going to admit it. I had the fucking CD.
Did you have the Onyx Biohazard version of that?
Yes, I did.
Of course you did.
It was pretty awesome, too. That's
on the Judgment Night soundtrack?
Judgment Night soundtrack, one of the greatest ever.
Yes.
Check the archives.
Callback.
Yes. So it was, of course, this was on the fly to kind of think of some of these. But at the same time, we didn't really have a stipulation for it.
No stipulation at all. It's whatever you consider a monster movie.
Right.
Go with that.
And now, after this episode's done, too, I encourage you, dear listeners, to send us your top 5 favorite monster movies. And if we didn't include something or something like that, just send us an email. We'll give you a shout out.
Absolutely.
So,
I will say, sometimes I feel like I'm in a monster movie. It's normally when I'm real hungry, and when I do,
you eat a Snickers?
I go to Holy Smokes.
Oh, damn. That's right. A sponsor of the show. They're out of Amarillo, Texas. Holy Smokes Amarillo, because there are a couple of other ones, but that's where they make
unaffiliated.
Yeah, unaffiliated, but that's where they make food and event is Holy Smokes Amarillo.
Shout out.
Which is really cool. If you got the time, look them up on Facebook. We really encourage you to take that 5 seconds to type in Holy Smokes Amarillo. And if you're in the Amarillo Metroplex, please make that food an event, because that's what they do, enjoy
Absolutely.
it. Funnel cakes, turkey legs, fucking barbecue. It's amazing food. It really is good. I get to eat it on the holidays just because I'm not only a client of Holy Smokes.
Are you the president?
No, I am a family member.
Oh, hey, that works out. That works out. I
So
hear
it's-
we're going to be having some food delivered sometime.
I hope.
That's
I
what
hope.
I keep hearing.
They're going to bring up the steamer trunk and, full of uncooked meats,
Hey.
and I'm like, hook it up.
Right on. I'm down.
So, so let's hit up this monster movie mashup.
Whoa.
It's a monster
Why
mash.
what are we mashing up?
Genres of monster
Ooh,
movies.
okay. Fair enough.
You want me to start or you want to start?
Oh, I don't care either way.
Well, again, monster movies have been around since the beginning of film.
Yes.
100%. They've always been around. We've always been intrigued by them for all the generations. If you could have a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you were doing it because they were doing it on stage.
Right.
And they were doing it effectively on stage with Dracula, things like that. And then you had Universal that came out with the Universal monster movie. Still the best company to, I think, ever make monster movies and build an entire almost industry on, scary movies.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is fucking great because that's what people want. They wanted to be amazed. They wanted to see something they had never seen before. And monster movies fit the fucking bill.
Absolutely.
Big time.
The fantastical, if you will.
Well, I mean, you had werewolves, you had all of those supernatural things, and then they started getting into the zombies, and then they were getting into the cryptids, just weird
And they got
shit.
into the Thriller video.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw a gremlin doing the Thriller dance today, all in CGI, and I was like, that's legit. Because if they redo the Gremlin movie, they need to do it kind of both with puppets and CGI.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Well, it's
Probably
gonna-
look a lot better.
Yeah.
Than if they just did it like CGI or something,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I would
CGI,
rather add
yeah.
some practical effects always.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of that, as
No,
are you.
Well, and my number 5 is Gremlins.
Okay.
I'm really going to put Gremlins up there because Gremlins is one of those movies that it could be very fucking scary if you held it in the right context.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it is funny. They had the comedy aspect of it. It was a kid's movie, and it's not a kid's movie. Not at all. These little green monsters are running around terrorizing people, killing people, they don't show them eating anything. I mean, I think in the original version of it, Joe Dante's original idea was to be a little bit more monsterific,
Monster-y,
and be really like, always what you read is they were going to have, one of the gremlins throw, Billy's mom's head down the stairs, after they killed her. So
Yeah.
that would have been fucking crazy, man.
That would have been legit.
Gremlins still, if you think about it, they're just some weird fucking creatures.
Absolutely.
And the way that they're shaped, they were really, I don't know. It's weird. They had those really long arms, short, squatty legs. I mean, the Mogwai is not a monster.
But I think the Mogwai is, that's what made it a kid's movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they put him in a pink fucking Barbie car that he's got pedals on. Really?
Well, yeah.
I
I mean,
didn't
that's a
think
really
Barbie
intricate Barbie car.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, he's fucking awesome.
That's Barbie's pink Corvette.
I know, right? So somehow he jerry-rigged that thing, or I need to cut that out. So, because that's an old saying.
Jury rig.
Yeah, jury rigged it to where it actually worked. But I like to watch it every now and then because I'm a big fan of both of the Gremlins movies.
Sure.
But yeah, you could see the horror in it because that's fucking some scary shit, especially whenever Spike's in the tree and his eyes fucking glow red. Holy shit, that fucking scares the fuck out of you. Even, whenever they're all coming at you, I always, like back in the day in high school, I still watched Gremlins from a kid forever. It's always been in my life. But I just imagine that scene of them all running down the snowy deal after the town's deserted.
Right.
Everybody's gone. Everybody has fucking left. And they're going towards the movie theater. And it's fucking so crazy to see the thousands and thousands of those fucking little things, just fucking running and jumping and doing everything, right? And they're just waiting to just wreak havoc somewhere else. Like they don't know that they can go past that town.
Right.
And imagine if there was a world just full of gremlins. It'd be fucking weird, man.
100%.
Even if they did like an anthology gremlin tale where they showed the gremlins in different time periods, like they actually did show them in like say, because gremlin, I guess the idea came from World War II, right?
Correct.
So, if they
It's just
actually
a creature that fucks shit up.
Right. If they showed them back in the day fucking with shit, and they showed them, when I say back in the day, like, in ancient times,
Right, sure.
and they kind of have this anthology of gremlin tales, and the people stopping their uprising every time.
Okay.
Because I guess,
Jack Burton's grandfather?
oh man, that would be crazy.
Great grandfather?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But gremlins,
What was in that demon bag?
I don't know. We could find
One of
out.
them a gremlin?
Do you want to find out?
I do.
Because we need to write that movie. Somebody needs to give us movie money.
Yeah.
But it's still, to me, they're monsters, and it's a fucking great monster movie because it's fun. It's childish, but it's dark. It's got everything. It's got a great script. I think it's another one of those movies. There's not a lot of wasted moments.
Agreed.
The best line in the whole movie is whenever Judge Reinhold's like, "Hey, we're talking cable." I mean, come on, Judge Reinhold talking about how awesome cable is at his house.
Right.
Fucking, you can't beat that shit. And Phoebe Cates like, no, I don't think so. It's like, hey, baby, I'm talking cable here, So that's my number 5. Gremlins 2 will come in kind of close to that, but Gremlins 2 was so fun. Christopher Lee, you had fucking Grandpa Lewis. No, that wasn't Grandpa Lewis. He was a lookalike of Grandpa Lewis. But, so many different aspects of that. Robert Picardo, for Christ's sake, was in that movie. But then
I think that was even more comedy though.
Oh, it
was more like slapstick almost.
They ran with it, but the social commentary added to that one right there kind of it was pretty cool. Daniel Clamp, the Clamp Network,
right?
He's all we bring a little home to your home, the Clamp Cable Network. It's nice knowing you. Now that the world's ending, I love that commercial at the end of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but what's your number 5?
My number 5, actually tying back to those Universal Studio monsters that you talked about, is also kind of a comedy, and it is called The Monster Squad.
Fucking one of the best movies of my childhood.
I love that movie as a kid, dude. And as you know, I know the whole song for some reason still in my head. It's fucking weird because that movie came out in 87?
If we're at a motherfucking rest home or in the future and you can sing that song, I would be like, holy shit, that's
it's
fucking
probably
awesome.
Gonna happen. It's probably all I'll be able to say. I'll just be singing fucking tunes from movies and TV shows from before I was born.
Singing Welcome Back Kotter and shit. And I was like, what?
Singing the Patty Duke song, show song.
Yeah.
Because they're cousins. But no, Monster Squad was awesome. And honestly, I loved the Frankenstein in this. Looked awesome. But the Dracula took the fucking cake, dude.
He was awesome in that movie.
The werewolf was fucking cool.
Fucking great too, man. Everything. The Gill Man was one of the coolest fucking creature feature of that whole movie. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I love the transformation of the werewolf too, which was so fucking cool.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
It was almost American Werewolf in London, but yet it was kind of more, I don't know, grounded. in a
Yeah.
weird way.
Yeah.
It was quick, and you got to see the pain that he went through.
Sure.
And he was like, lock me up. It was just fucking cool,
Yeah,
right? Even the
absolutely.
Mummy was badass in that movie
Yeah.
too. I think they killed it on that movie when it came to the effects.
Everything minus the vortex.
That was still cool though. I mean, you got to admit,
was
Van
okay.
Helsing gets sucked in, but then he comes out. Like he can't stay there and throw, Dracula back in.
Virgins. That's
Yeah.
what I remember.
Yeah. But that's so. Fred Decker is fucking awesome writer. I mean,
agreed.
and that was, and the name always stuck with me too. Fred Decker always did.
Didn't he do Night of the Creeps?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he had a pretty good run at that.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
But that would be my number 5. It's a fun movie, but I think that like we were talking about, the monsters are amazing in it,
Man.
and you get them all, so
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. you
Yeah.
know?
But they could not do Creature. They couldn't
They
call
couldn't
him.
call him. Yeah.
So they called him Gilman, and then the little kid, the youngest one, he's like, Creature, was outside my room or something like that, right? Creature stole my Twinkie.
and my favorite line from that, of course, is "Kick him in the nars."
Yes.
Wolfman's got nars.
Yes.
Kick him there anyways.
I mean, a little kid took down the fucking Wolfman by kicking him in the balls, man. I mean, that empowered every fucking fat kid named Horace ever. You know what I mean?
Are
And
there
that
a
was
lot?
cool too.
Are there a lot?
What?
Fat kids named
There's
Horace?
at least 7.
Okay,
You know what
okay.
I mean? I mean, Horace was a badass, right? At the very, you're introduced to Horace in a really shitty way because the fucking one of the Alpha Beta juniors
Yes.
was basically like, eat the Snicker bar, dork. And and the one kid that's in like 7th grade and they're in 6th.
on his bicycle,
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette.
He's like, he like fucking coasts in and shit. He's like, pick it up. And he's like, oh man, don't make me do it. And he's like, eat it. Well, he's smoking a cigarette. Nobody else has got, I mean, he's got to be at least,
He's at least 14.
yeah, at least 14 because he's still riding a bike. No self-respecting 15-year-old is going to be riding a bike. They're going to be walking. You know what I mean? Except for the dude from Goonies, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Brandon.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin. He's still riding a
Thanos.
bike. Yeah.
Thanos is riding a bike right now.
Thanos on the bike. But I mean, that was one hell of a deal. And then Horace gets his day in court too.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
he's got the fucking shotgun and he blows the Gilman away. But what was so cool about even the kills in this one of the actual, like when they blew up the fucking Wolfman,
Yeah,
dude, that was
that was
awesome.
cool.
But then he came back together.
Yep.
Holy shit. But I mean, the lamest one, of course, was the fucking mummy.
Yeah.
And they tied the shit off and fucking
Fired the arrow.
Yeah. Home Dude is like awesome in that movie too.
Apparently.
He fucking he can defeat bullies, and then he's like, "Hey, I'll join your monster club because you live next door to Homegirl. Is that your sister?"
Yeah, it's his older sister, right?
Yeah. He's like, and that whole little montage scene when they're getting things ready, and he grabs the dill and he spits out his coke.
Yeah.
He does that like twice.
Yeah.
He's like, they're
It's
like,
the same montage from Lost Boys.
oh yeah, almost right. Great movie, fucking
Yeah.
awesome movie. I watched it not too long ago just because it was so fun.
I watched it. It's been probably a year ago. My daughter and I watched it, and she
Yeah.
loved it.
Oh yeah, man.
Maybe a couple years ago.
Well, even the dude that they picked to be the scary German dude,
Scary German guy.
yeah, scary German guy, and then he feeds him pie and shit like that. That doesn't happen nowadays.
No.
Yeah, no. Yeah. You stay past the chain link fence. You don't go in the guy's yard.
Oh, that's
And like,
real creepy.
And like, were you a Nazi? That would have been like apt pupil 3.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I assume it would have been like that guy that chases Chris in American Family, or Family Guy, rather.
Oh yeah. So hey guys, first I got a game for you. First person to reach in my pocket and grab a roll of quarters wins. It's fucked up. That was a fucking awesome movie.
But that guy was in V.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude was
he
in-
was in a lot of
oh,
stuff.
yeah, he
but
was in a
that's what
whole
I
bunch of
remember him from before that.
See, I don't remember V too much. I just remember them eating the gerbils and shit, and I never really paid attention.
I remember that was an event. I mean,
Yeah.
I was little.
Yeah.
Not little, but I was a kid, and I just remember watching that mini series and then the
Yeah.
television show that came out after.
Yeah, V and Cocoon kind of are in the same time period for me for some reason.
Fuck Cocoon. I hated that movie.
You watch your mouth about it, Jeff. a Steve Gutenberg movie. You better watch your mouth. Gutenberg can do no wrong.
I don't want to watch a movie with a bunch of old people fucking getting naked in it. It was fucking weird.
They
dude.
don't get naked. They just go swimming.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't know, dude. I was like kid. I was like, I definitely don't want to be watching this movie right now. This is dumb.
Yeah. I mean, Ali Sheedy and Gutenberg. I mean, the perfect couple. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I'd say that wrong. I would say Steve Gutenberg and
Steve Gutenberg are the best couple.
Yeah, Steve Gutenberg and Steve Gutenberg.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Steve Gutenberg, Tom Selleck.
Ooh.
Damn. Dropped it.
Weird. Are we talking Quickly Down Under? No.
Ooh.
Are we talking Magnum P.I.?
Quickly Down Under, because he was a badass in that.
He was a badass.
Yeah,
No.
love that movie. So my number...
Weird conversation.
Yes. So my number 4, okay, is I'm going to go with The Blob 1988.
This is a really good remake. Yeah, it is a great movie.
I think The Blob probably has got to be one of the greatest remakes besides the Tom Savini Night of the Living Dead that's ever been done for a horror movie. I think, was it Matt Dillon? Even the Shawnee Smith, she was in it. God, there was it was just such a well executed fucking horror movie. And it was a monster movie to boot. The effects, yeah, you could definitely tell they were dated.
Dillon?
Kevin Dillon, yeah.
Matt, not Matt Dillon.
Not Matt. No. It's Kevin. It's the mullet one.
The other Dylan.
Yeah, there's 12 of them. Yes, but the way that
Hanging out with the Baldwins.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It was like them versus the Dylans, like fighting and shit.
And the Arquettes are like, fuck you.
I love how they turned something that was a pretty cheesy movie from the 50s with Steve McQueen in it. That wasn't very scary. I'm sorry. They were in a diner and the Blob was like, I'm going to eat you. And they're like, no.
I don't remember the Blob talking in that movie.
Yeah, he does.
He does in Brock's Head.
Yeah, he does. Cause I have a laugh track with him, you know.
Nice.
It's like, I'm the Blob and I'm gonna come and eat you.
I'm the Kamitachi.
Yeah. Got you. But you know, what I really,
Or not Kamitachi. What was that game where it's like you pick up all the things? in a ball? No, it's
Tamagotchi?
Not Tamagotchi. That's the little virtual pet that he kept on like a key ring or something.
Pog?
No, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyway.
We digress.
But
Get at us if you know what that game is.
I really like that Frank Darabont was the director of it.
Yeah.
And he has made some of the more surreal horror movies, and I think this one was grounded in a really cool way. Because it was that small little mountain town, right? And you kind of had the same. They injected the same fucking I don't know, a teenager feeling, into it. But then, with the first date and everything, and he's like ribbed. What the fuck? Even the sheriff, the sheriff is like trying to get it a little bit, because he likes the waitress.
Right.
But the kills in this fucking movie are fucking fantastic. Especially like he's gone, but she's in the fucking booth. Why does she run to the booth? Go somewhere else. Run as far away as you can to another phone booth. Of course, she's frantic.
Classic horror movie. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. I'm out of my mind.
This thing's chasing us.
Right.
It just sucked a dude through a goddamn garden hose.
I don't know about anybody else, but my idea, like when something's chasing me, is I get the fuck away.
Yeah. I would keep going.
Yes.
I would go to the next room and be like, whoa.
You can outrun the Blob.
Yeah. I know. He moves pretty slow. He is a blob after all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The foreshadowing was really cool. They kind of, foreshadowed his jump.
Yes,
they foreshadowed the homeless dude that gets the shit on his hand. They foreshadow everything. The first kill, you're fucking there.
Yeah.
He's underneath that shit getting dissolved and his arm is reaching out, and that's the iconic image that you see in it. And then whenever the sheriff's like floating in the fucking blob and she sees him, she's like, ah,
Right.
And the dude gets sucked into the fucking drain. He's like, oh, there's goddamn shit in this thing. Fucking everything but a shoe goes.
Right.
But the first shoe goes.
Right.
But it's the last shoe that doesn't. It's always the left one. If you're driving down the side of the road and you see a shoe, guaranteed it's always the left one.
Interesting.
It's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a weird anomaly. But even the ending was pretty good because they have, what is his name? Meadows or something like that. Meadows or something.
Right.
Is the head dude. So it was kind of almost like they really injected a lot of like Stephen King into it with like Dreamcatcher. Cause if you watch Dreamcatcher, you know how they had the alien invasion, right? And they had the main dudes that were part of, the government that were after it.
Yeah.
These guys, they created the fucking blob. So they ground you in this, oh yeah, it was a bacteria that came down that we created.
Right.
So they were just seeing how it was going to go. The scene when they're fucking underwater and the little kid gets it.
Yeah.
And then, cause the jacket won't unzip and shit like that. And then the little kid goes and Shawnee Smith's like crawling and all of a sudden she's like, yay, I got out. Yeah. And then the movie theater one. Oh, fucking awesome. Seeing those tentacles.
Absolutely.
Everything about this movie was fucking awesome. But what I'm still disappointed in is I really, really, really wanted to see a sequel, especially when the dude's holding the piece of the blob that he got, the preacher.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That would have been fucking awesome. Cause he's just waiting to unleash it.
Right.
He's a revival preacher now. And then he's just like, he's got that shit and he wants to do something with it, but he's waiting for the right time. And then you're done. You're done.
Right.
Great fucking movie.
Agreed.
That's one of the only movies that I own on YouTube. For real.
Interesting.
It's weird because back in the day, you could buy movies from where was I buying them from? Samsung or something like that. And then they transferred everything that you had bought to YouTube.
Really?
So you just log in with your Gmail and you can watch them. So I have Night of the Living Dead 1990, and I have fucking that movie.
You got the horror remakes.
Yeah, I have the best ones.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's cool.
Yeah, but fucking awesome movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, everybody needs to see that movie if you want to know how a remake is done.
Well, I got one for you because my number 4 is a newer movie. This is 2017 Kong Skull Island. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to make a remake, this is the way to fucking do it.
And what's so cool about this one is it wasn't necessarily a remake, but it was just like a re-envisioning.
Exactly.
Not a reboot.
No, it was different. You're right. You're right.
It was a re-envisioning to something that you already know, but yet they didn't stray too far from it.
Yeah, well, I like the setting of the 70s. You know what I mean? Which I thought was super cool.
The end of the Vietnam War.
Right. Obviously, the talent, you had Samuel L. Jackson, John Goodman, Tom Hiddleston, and of course, my favorite character, John C. Reilly.
Yeah. Yeah. On the back of his jacket, it says "For Your Health."
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, he's got fucking Steve Brule back there.
But I remember watching this movie with my family. We had just done a trip. We went through South Dakota, Wyoming, all the way to Yellowstone, and came back, and it was the 4th of July.
Damn.
And, their Manitou does its own did, back in the day, do its own, back in the day, 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
But did its own fireworks, and I didn't care about that. We all were so tired, and we just sat down and watched Kong Skull Island, and I was, super fucking impressed.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Man, you know who I thought fucking killed it in that movie?
Brie Larson, I forgot to say that.
Yeah,
She was in it. Yeah.
Was the dude that goes towards one of the fucking skull walkers or whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. And he's got he's the guy that's eaten after they get attacked. He's very low key.
Yeah.
That dude was fucking awesome in that movie. And now I've seen him in a lot of other stuff. He was in that Perry Mason or TV show too.
The new one?
But he is a great actor. And it's to see him in that, and that was the first thing that I remember him in. I was like, man, that dude's he stole the show from me, really.
Yeah.
I don't know what the guy's name is, and I will learn it.
I don't know offhand.
Yeah. But, of course, playing the Stooges when you're going and you know, on the fucking boat that they're on.
Absolutely.
Samuel L. Jackson's pissed off that the war's over. You got John Goodman, right? And Tom Hiddleston's character was the one that I think was a great character, but I don't think it was fleshed out enough because they were making him a badass, but with no context.
Right.
You know, he plays pool and he kicks somebody's ass in pool and they're like, he's our man.
Right.
You know, and you got these other war veterans and shit. But but the scene where Kong attacks him the first time, wow.
Dude.
Fucking great.
One of the greatest reveals in a monster movie, in my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion. All of this is my top 5. So this is purely, subjective. But yeah, I just, this movie from the beginning to the end, just I was wrapped up in it.
Yeah,
I was in it, and that's few and far between. You know, for modern movies, a lot.
Right, right. Know? Even the scene where home dude's like getting a drink of water, right?
Yeah,
the one dude. I mean, he's a decent actor too. He's been in a lot of stuff here lately too. But whenever the octopus is about to get him, but Kong like eats the fucking octopus and shit. Fucking cool, man. Yeah. I like Peter Jackson's King Kong, but this one was way fucking better.
Peter Jackson's King Kong was slow. Yeah. So slow. And it was good, don't get me wrong, but it's just, this was like,
action packed.
You know what I mean? And
they give you that first 20 minutes.
You know?
First 20 minutes of them getting there, they get to the island and it's like, bam. Yeah. And he throws the fucking palm trees at the shit, impales, it grabs him. He's like, I mean, just seeing him like, God damn, fucking things like cut me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he fucking just like goes.
And then don't get me wrong, the original King Kong's fucking amazing too.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have got this without it, but this is my favorite Kong.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree with you as far as like one of the best in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Best movies, just overall.
Yeah, it would be in probably my top 25 movies.
I like how they're building the world too, the Monarch world.
Yeah.
You know, showing, you know, you have Godzilla 2014, Godzilla King of Monsters. Now you're going to have Kong versus King, or Kong versus Godzilla. Yeah. And I mean, the size of Kong is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because in the Jackson one and the original one, he wasn't as big. In this one, he's a fucking tower.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just so cool to see the bones of his elders and everything like that. And then those things coming up and.
It was cool that they had the story with the skull crawlers too.
Yeah.
How they killed all of his, his race basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of cool. There's like a backstory and there was more to it. And I of course, and you.
Yeah. What was really cool. What was really cool about John C. Reilly's character is he had been there forever.
Exactly.
So that's so awesome that him and the other dude were there and they were fighting. And then all of a sudden the fucking one thing that stops them is the fucking giant ape. And they're like, well, no more shooting.
Man, fuck this.
He's a horrible shot. Like you can't hit him with nothing. But no, I thought it was great, and the way they wrapped it up with him going home, watching a Cubs game, you know, on the TV, eating a hot dog.
Right.
Fucking, it was great. You know, I really do hope that they do it justice and kind of show us more of that world, because that was in the early 70s, right? So 72 or something like that, right?
It was 73 is I think when it takes place. But my favorite part was at the end when they go to the, they have that footage that they take, and you get to see like Godzilla, Mothra, you know, and then like a couple of the other, and the cave paintings. Yeah. So it's oh, this is coming. Yep. You know?
No, I really like the idea. I respect the idea, and hopefully this is, because Godzilla 2014 was awesome.
Godzilla, like even the original stuff was like, I was really into that when I was a kid. 100%. Like the Godzilla movies, I was in.
Yeah. Godzilla is awesome. You know, Shin Godzilla was pretty good too.
Yeah.
But what was really weird about the 2014 one, that this one didn't do, was the 2014 one, they concentrated too much on the people aspect of it, you know? Okay. And so what was really badass about it was they weren't focused on the fighting. They were focused on what was going on around it.
Sure.
So you were actually like there, the way your perspective was, which was pretty cool. And in this one,
I thought it was a pretty good balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in this one, they had Samuel L. Jackson's kind of character, you know, going after fucking King. He was like, I'm gonna fucking beat this motherfucker, right? And everybody's going down one at a time, and he's never gonna leave the war. And this is his new war. You know what I mean?
Except
so
it's a war against King Kong.
Yeah. How do you beat it? But he pretty much did.
Yeah. Well, he's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, he could beat the fuck out of anybody.
Fucking Jedi.
Yeah, he's only the purple-headed lightsaber
Yeah, exactly.
Jedi ever.
If it wasn't for fucking Anakin.
Yeah, I know, right?
Son of a bitch.
Fucking
Anyways.
he was a chosen one.
Yeah. You were the chosen one. Anyways. Yeah, that's my number 4, Kong Skull Island. Really love that fucking movie.
It was a fucking awesome movie. Awesome movie. My number 3 is, now this is another remake. It's weird. Like, now that I'm looking at my list, I'm like, damn, there's a couple of remakes on here.
I've got at least one more.
Right.
Actually 2.
Yeah. But
So-
The Little Shop of Horrors. That is a
Love
monster
that.
movie.
You're 100% right. I wouldn't argue with you, and I love that movie.
Yeah. I get to the Skid Row song and I'm hooked.
Yeah.
You know, if I get there and I see that old lady walking down the street and she's singing Skid Row, like, I got the soundtrack, I got everything, man. I fucking love that movie. I never really
that
watched
character actually played by Sebastian Bach of Skid Row. No, not really, not at all.
I'm like, really? No, you. Fucking Rick Moranis was fucking awesome. The woman that played Audrey, she was on the stage production of it because it was on the stage forever.
Right.
Corman made the movie, which I didn't really ever see. I never really wanted to because I didn't
Right.
want it to taint it. You know what I mean? Because I know Nicholson was in it, but it was really shot within like a day or some shit like that.
Right,
It had
right.
a shitty puppet.
Shitty puppet.
But I fucking love every aspect of that movie. Frank Oz killed it. Christopher Guest has like that. He's like, huh, that is an interesting plant in your window. He's like, I'll take a dozen roses. Can you break a 50? And they're like, no. Fine. I'll take 2 more. What? John Candy's in it.
Steve Martin, of
Steve
course.
Martin. You'll be a dentist. You'll be a success. I fucking love it, man.
Great stuff.
You know, even Bill Murray's character was fucking
Absolutely.
awesome. Everything was great in that fucking movie. Rick Moranis killed it. That was at the height of his career, I think, right before Spaceballs.
Okay.
You know, I think it was like right in the same time. But I remember seeing this in the movie theaters, and I don't really like a lot of musicals, a lot of modern ones, but that one, I was like, from a kid, I was like, that's fucking awesome.
I like some musicals, and that's definitely one of them that I like.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot of comedy in it. You got the right folks. But you know, the plant was legit too. It wasn't as Pruppety.
No, Levi Stubbs.
Yes.
The lead singer of the Commodores or some shit like that. Something crazy like that. He was like a badass, right? Fucking awesome. He did a great fucking job in that.
Absolutely.
And then just the
Feed
song.
me, Seymour.
One of my school projects was I drew Audrey 2.
Nice.
That was one of my projects because I was like, man, I love this movie. That was the first thing I watched on HBO Max too.
Wow.
Yeah. It was fucking, I love that movie and I always will. I think that'll be the one I'm in the rest home like, oh my God, look, some horrors is on. And my wife will be like, would you die already?
My movie for that will be Harvey with Jimmy Stewart.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Not a monster movie.
No.
Well, maybe Invisible 7-Foot Rabbit.
I think you can.
You could make it. Yeah. But we're not going there.
No. But that's a highlight of my life is Little Shop of Horrors. I love it.
Great movie. Great
Yes.
movie. I absolutely enjoy that movie.
Yes. Yeah. What's your number 3?
My number 3, I think you might like this movie a little bit. It's a little ditty. It's a remake as well. It's called The Fly.
Oh, fucking Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah.
David Cronenberg, Gina Davis,
Yep.
Brundlefly.
Brundlefly. Man, this movie, I remember watching this as a kid on the old HBO before it became the Max.
Yeah.
Or the Now.
We've lived through it.
When it was home box office. But man, this movie, there's some really gross parts in it. But man, you just follow that transformation through the movie is so amazing. And a true monster movie, in my opinion. And not the Fly in the way of was it the 50s Fly where he had like the fly head?
Yeah, that was.
So that was kind of it's a remake, but it's kind of like a reboot, like we've talked about with kind of how Kong was.
Yeah, it was kind of, they were working with the same aspect of it, where the transportation, right?
Right.
So like in the
Teleportation.
original, the original one was so kind of weird, and it was kind of scientific, you know what I mean? Yeah. Give me sugar, you know what I mean? And he only had one fly arm and shit like that. But the ending of that one was fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
Help me. I fucking love it. But this one, Jesus. Oh, there's so many fucking disgusting parts, just like the Fly 2.
Yeah.
Fly 2 sucked, but it was cool because it was
Fly 2.
You never watched it?
No.
You need to.
I just watched the first one.
Yeah, you just need to see it because you get to see kind of the continuation of Brundlefly.
Oh.
You know, which
Jeff
is
Goldblum in it?
Nope.
Oh, maybe that's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Generally, when they change like the main character, then I'm like, fuck it.
Well, you know the asshole dude, right? That he pukes on his hand.
Yeah,
and shit
yeah.
like that. He's in it.
Oh.
And then they technically Jeff Goldblum impregnates fucking Gina Davis.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
And they have a baby, but
Fly baby?
Yeah, pretty much. But he's
Maybe
like,
I have seen this. Maybe it's just like one of those movies I watched one time or something.
Well, it was the guy that originally played Marty McFly. Whatever that redhead dude's name is. He's been in a lot of shit too, but not as good. But it still has some really disgusting fucking parts in it. What I liked about this Fly is the way that it was so disgusting to see that Cronenberg monster.
Absolutely. I think that was the part that really got me, though, is that it just got more and more. You know what I mean? As you went forward, more disgusting, more. It's such a slow burn as far as his transformation, if that makes any sense.
And you get
the
to
part
see,
where he like breaks the dude's arm when they're arm wrestling.
Yeah. and he's walking on the ceiling and shit like that.
Yeah.
He's all fucking like, look at me, I'm badass. But then he's got like fucking weird hair growing on him and shit.
It was Eric Stoltz.
Yes. Yeah. Eric Stoltz mask people. But it's so fucking disgusting whenever he's puking on shit, just like a fly would, you know, just to break it down. And Gina Davis is like, oh, freaking out. And the dude has a shotgun, right? But it's so fucking, the way it ends, he like points the shotgun at his head because he knows he's an abomination.
Right.
It's like, boom. You get to see it all in slow-mo and the fucking puppets like, bam.
Puppet.
I'm going to get my grandson a shirt for real, and I'm going to put Pruppets on it.
That's beautiful.
Just it's going to say Pruppet. maybe a picture of Steve Rule. I don't know. But everything about that movie was fucking awesome, and it's kind of crazy. Most of our top fives are going to be remakes. A lot of them are.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah, because they make sense. You update them.
Yeah, I mean, for as much shit as we talk about them rebooting movies, it's really what you kind of do to bring it to a new generation and to move it forward. It's really important to me if they're going to remake something that somehow moves the story forward, which I think that the Brundlefly movie, you know, the Fly, that movie was definitely a big departure from the other one.
And Cronenberg had been making a lot of crazy fucking movies anyway.
100%.
And then he does that one, which is it could have been a major franchise, technically, you know?
I mean,
because they only made
Eric Stoltz. I mean,
yeah, I know, right? Come on. Anything he's attached to, I'm fucking on board. But, you know, they made Return of the Fly, things like that, and it just wasn't the same. I mean, Vincent Price was cool, and all of his monster movies were pretty cool. But this one just was a standalone great movie.
Yeah.
You know, just like The Blob as a remake. You didn't have to have a franchise on those movies, and I'm glad that they didn't like overdo them.
Right. Right.
Even though I said I wanted to see a Blob, continuation.
Well,
but
that's just because of the cliffhanger.
yeah, just years down the road.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Never mind. I'll
Yeah.
leave that alone.
Yeah.
Because that'll lead into something else. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's my number 3, sir.
my number 2 is a fucking fantastic movie called Tremors.
Yep, I knew that was going to be on one of our lists.
Tremors is one of the greatest monster movies because it is a true original monster fucking movie. There is nothing like that movie whenever it came out.
Agreed.
And I don't think there still has been, even though they're
Maybe
on Tremors.
Dune.
No.
Just kidding with the sandworm things.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe a little movie called Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah. No.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, no. But it was so fucking like Kevin Bacon was fucking awesome in it.
Hell yeah.
And I know that he was like crying pretty much in Kira Sidgwick's arms whenever he got the part and shit.
Really?
Because he was like, I can't believe I'm in a fucking monster movie. You know what I mean? I'm Kevin fucking Bacon. I danced, but I was in Footloose, god damn it. Fucking he kills it in that movie.
Yeah, he does. 100%.
Fucking, God, every part of that movie was so original, I thought. Having the little bitty town of perfection out there in the middle of nowhere. They were completely isolated, and it is a fucking monster movie. It's a monster. Where do they come from? You don't know. So you have that aspect of it. So,
right.
And then they have their way out. Got to get to the mountains. It's all rock.
Right.
How are we going to get there? Let's fucking do this. But that whole, I don't know, middle part of the movie, kind of like the real kind of bulk of the story where Chang dies, yeah, because the fucking whatever, the Coke machine goes fucking crazy.
Right.
The bearing's out. And they call them graboids because they don't fucking really know what
graboids.
it is. Yeah, graboids. I like it. So, I'll give you $10 for it. Okay. But I mean, there's just there's so many aspects of this movie that were great, especially whenever the woman gets taken underneath. You're immediately just like, holy shit,
right?
They're fucking amazing. I saw this movie in the theater at a dollar theater, the show place, or the show place in Amarillo, right?
Right.
And we went on a Saturday afternoon after a basketball game, right? So I was on fucking some peewee basketball game. I fucking hated basketball. I still do, playing it. I'm no good, right? I'm just that fat kid that gets 2 points a season. You know what I mean? That was me. It was like a mercy point. You know what I mean? Right. Mercy basket. But I went with two friends. One that I never, I don't think I've ever seen that dude since basketball. Back in junior high, or grade school, whenever it was. And we got dropped off in that scene, and it was a full fucking theater too, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those old seats and everything like that. But the scene where they're standing there and the generator disappears and the fucking generator shoots up through the ground, that scared the shit out of everybody. Everybody was like, ah, and jumped. It was fucking a great moment.
Right.
Seeing it for the first time, and it was one of those smaller theaters where it was a big screen, but it was like a small big screen. But it stuck with me. It stuck with me forever. And I will always remember that movie, and I'll always love that movie by itself.
This movie will always be tied, because the writers were the same, to Short Circuit.
Yeah.
Not a monster movie, but a great fucking movie.
Yeah. Los locos kick your ass.
My loins are on fire for you.
Yes. Yeah. Come on. That dude playing.
Anyways, but not to digress off of this movie. No, man, this movie was great. So my question for you, Brock, being as big of a Tremors fan as you are, how many of the sequels have you seen?
Almost every one of them.
Really? Did you watch the series?
No.
Okay, I didn't either.
Well, I kind of stopped whenever Jamie Kennedy was was a principal actor in one of them.
Oh.
I was like, Now they have Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell that I still have not watched it. So it's like Tremors in Antarctica or some shit like that. Yeah, so I don't know.
That's fairly recent, right?
Yeah, that was like last year, maybe the year before, 2018. Yeah, because Tremors 2. Not bad. right?
So, for clarity, always, I've only seen the first one.
Okay. Well,
But again,
you don't need to see the rest of it.
that's what I feel. I feel like it's not going to be any better than the first one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the first one's good. I enjoyed the first one.
Well, what's funny is Michael Gross, right? The guy that was playing opposite fucking Reba McEntire, which she fucking killed it in that movie too. He was actually filming Family Ties during the day. The way it goes, I think he quit. Family Ties ended on like a Sunday, and on a Monday he was on the set of fucking Tremors.
Wow.
No shit. And then he's still in Tremors movies till this day. Like, I think he's Earl Gummer, you know. He's almost in every one of them, which is fucking crazy. And he said that same character, he loves it, I guess. Reba didn't come back.
Yeah, well.
You know, Fred Ward came back.
She was busy making the Little Rascals movie.
I guess. Fred Ward came back for one of the sequels. Kevin Bacon still hasn't come back.
I can't imagine.
Well, they had Tremors that actually walked.
What?
Whatever. Yeah, they walked around, they farted fire or some shit like that. I don't know. It was weird. I don't even fucking remember it.
Did you know this show with this, like, the original name was Land Sharks? That's what they called it.
Yeah, make sure.
And they stopped it because of the Saturday Night Live skit.
Land
I was
Shark.
like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had no idea.
No, I love this movie through and through, and
Absolutely.
I love it so much that my wife's like, do we have to watch Tremors again?
I always thought it would somehow be cool if you ever see that movie Holes with the LaBeouf kid?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What if that like tied into Tremors, like just at the end?
Oh.
And like Sigourney Weaver gets eaten or something. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that'd be a perfect ending to this movie.
Which that wasn't a bad movie either.
No, it wasn't. But
Yeah,
I mean,
with
that's where my
Sploosh.
brain goes. I was like, they're digging and digging. There's like some kid's digging and all of a sudden he's just swallowed up. Fuck yeah.
One of those little tentacles comes out and it's like, wee! And it fucking eats
Trimmer
him.
holes.
Yeah, whoa. John Voight's like, gotta get out of this, motherfucker. I'm John Voight.
Anyways, I digress, but I always thought that would be a cool ending for that show.
That would be awesome.
If you could tie that in. Somehow.
Instead of sneakers.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's fucked up. So what's your number 2?
My number 2. I guess it's still kind of a remake, reboot just because of the character, but An American Werewolf in London. This is probably...
that is a complete original, I think.
I think it's an original, too. I think it's just the creature, you know,
Yeah.
I mean...
The werewolf.
The werewolf,
The lycanthropy.
Yes.
Fucking just got done watching this movie the other day.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
I think it was about 2 weeks ago.
Fresh
We
in
watched
your
it.
mind.
The fucking dreams, man.
Oh, I know. This movie
Wow.
freaked me out as a kid.
It still is a freaky movie when you really think about it. The psychological torture that he was going through
Absolutely.
before he changed for the first time, the dreams, and then like even seeing himself in the woods and he walks up to it and he fucking You're like the fucking Nazi werewolves. Where the fuck does that come from?
Absolutely.
What? This is another Frank Oz cameo movie.
Yeah.
You know, where he was in it for, God, what part? He was like, he said Mr. Something like over and over again. But even the nurse, she's been in a lot of really good stuff.
We kind of recreated a scene in Darkman. Didn't that what we just talked
yeah,
about?
Yeah, that was kind of, she was like the continuation of that character. Everybody
John Landis was in that movie.
John Landis was there. Yeah, it was American Werewolf in London.
But man, this movie. This is a movie where I saw that sequel that came out like 15 years later or whatever.
An American Werewolf in Paris.
It was terrible.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He hits his head while he's bungee jumping.
Whatever. But no, this movie, fucking amazing. We could probably do a 2-part episode on this movie. I'm not going to dig so far down into it, but
dude, the first part, you're fucking enamored. You're there. You feel part of it. They're normal. That's what you would do. You're backpacking across Europe.
Absolutely.
You know, if you could do it.
In 1980s. Late 70s, maybe.
1981.
It was 81 is when the movie came out, but I assume that it was taking place in like, you know.
Yeah. And well, they go into the slaughtered lamb, right? Wow. And why? And
No foreshadowing there.
Yeah. What's really unusual to me is like, even though those fucking people knew that the werewolves were out that night,
Right.
they didn't let them stay.
I know.
What the fuck is that? You know, they're like, can I get some tea? And they're like, we ain't got none. Can we get a beer? We ain't got none. You know, and then they're like, what's the 5-pointed star? Dude, there's one of the guys from the TV show The Young Ones was on there. He was one of the chess players, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But even that old guy, that dude actually was in my favorite Alien movie, Alien 3, which most people are going to stab me in the heart for that one. But I love that movie.
I know that's your favorite.
Yeah. He was the room of control. You know, he was that dude.
Right.
But it was just so fucking well put together. The pacing was great. John Landis killed it on that movie.
Absolutely. And his friend, Jack, I think it was, right?
Yes.
The undead, like the guy that keeps appearing to him and he just like keeps decaying more and more through the...
What I really like about that part of it is and I've never seen a 4K restoration of that. But what I really like about that, it is so dark. And every scene, when he's even in the porno theater and he's sitting there and he's like, come on, David, kill yourself.
And there's a little bit of comedy to it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but I think that was the big deal for him, right? Like people didn't know how to, some people didn't want to fund it.
No.
Because they were like, oh, it's too funny to be a horror movie. It's too scary to be a comedy. You know, like there wasn't really that genre there at 1981. You know what I mean?
Every song in the movie too is about a moon.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, they have Moon Dance, they have Bad Moon Rising. I think even at the time CCR was still fighting. And even John Fogerty didn't even know that was going to be in the fucking movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he wrote the song and fucking did everything. But that transformation scene, that was a Stan Winston original, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
That was fucking terrifying.
Oh, 100%.
Terrifying, but yet that's the one thing you remember, especially when he's laying down on his back.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's fucking great. Even when his snout fucking pops out, he's actually forming into a different kind of a creature. Because you don't get to see the first creature that attacked him.
Right.
You only see the dude laying on the ground dead.
Yep.
Right? But with him, you see the fucking snout pop out. You see the hair growing, the fucking feet extending, you know, in that first rampage that he goes on, the first kill bot thing, whatever he goes through, and he's killing the people at the dinner party, you know? And then the one dude that gets the fucking almond joy at the fucking, at the tube station, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. He's like, huh. Why is he the only one there?
Yeah, right.
You know, and he falls down a couple of times. When he falls on the escalator, he doesn't even, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Go.
Right.
But he's caught. But what's cool about that scene is you see the fucking werewolf puppet at the very back kind of just walking towards him.
Yeah.
And it's not a full close up. They don't really delve into that. They give you more of that fucking just like, oh shit, this dude's fucked.
Right.
You know? And then at the very end too, they don't really show him. They show him kind of when the nurse goes out there and she's like kind of trying to soothe him or whatnot. You know what I mean? And he's in the alley because he goes through fucking Piccadilly Square, knocking over shit. Like somebody brought a werewolf into the theater. No, a cougar or some shit like that. Right? It was like the Gremlins deal. Who brought a cougar to a party? And the fucking Rick Moranis runs out. But it's fucking so awesome. Every bit of that movie. And that was before Landis actually really did kill people.
Right.
You know, which was horrifying.
Absolutely.
But that fucking movie was legit.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me as a kid, dude, for sure.
The dreams still get me.
Yeah, I could see that. It's been a while since I've seen this one, so I may have to revisit that sooner than later.
Yeah, it's Halloween time.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah. We're in September.
You know what? That movie couldn't happen nowadays.
No.
Because you can't have an American in London.
No. We're banned.
We're banned from everywhere.
Where's your passport? No, there was just so many good things about that movie. The ending was sorrowful. I mean, it made you feel for it. So it wasn't the classic, like, you've been bitten by a vampire or something, you know what I mean? Or even like the old fucking Lon Chaney Jr. one, you know?
Right.
It was a really cool original idea that really brought you into not necessarily the 80s. It was like the late 70s. It was just a weird time period, you know?
I think the piece that always got me, kind of tugged on my little kid heartstrings even, was, you see that point where he recognizes her when he's the werewolf.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, oh. And then
he's still in there. Yeah.
That's kind of gets over. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Well, that's my number 2, sir.
That is a very
So
good
I think
number
that
2.
we are moving on to your number 1.
My number 1.
Who, sir, is your number 1?
Of all time is The Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, that's a great one.
The Bride of Frankenstein is such a unusual fucking monster movie because you only get to see the bride for like maybe 3 minutes, maybe not even that long. It's tremendous, you know? I mean, it's such a huge reveal. But what I like about this movie is the monster, Frankenstein's monster, kind of becoming a major player in all of it. Because, of course, in Frankenstein, great movie. Fucking, don't get me wrong. Fucking love that.
Great book.
Love it, right? Love every aspect of that movie. I think is one of the greatest movies of all time, too. But The Bride trumps it. I really like that, you know, they had the weird fucking doctor that had like little people that he grew in jars and shit.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Bride of Frankenstein.
It's fucking weird, you know? And then you still got Clive Owen comes back, you know, and he's like, all right, well, let's fucking make a mate, you know?
Right.
But the bride is fantastic, you know, the whole, she's so afraid of the monster that she can't be with him, and that's the only reason why he had her made. It's such a human, like, weird, awesome, fucked up thing. You know, every shot in that movie, every aspect of that movie, the one thing that, the only part about the whole movie that gets me is the old lady that yells at the beginning. And she's like the housekeeper. She's like, ah, and she screams.
You meant Colin Clive, right?
Yeah, Colin Clive.
You said Clive Owen. And I was like, what version of Bride of Frankenstein? Did I miss something?
Yeah, Colin Clive. It is 2 C's.
I had to look it up. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Not right. Yeah, that guy was tortured.
1935, Clive Owen.
Clive Owen. He's a vampire.
He does not age. Him and Keanu Reeves.
But I liked it that it was a sequel.
Right.
For one. And then, again, the humanizing of the actual monster. He meets the dude that smokes. He's all, smoke good. You know, he actually gets to talk in it. They're in it, and home dude, the scientist, is like fucking the mad scientist, right?
Right.
Is down in the crypt with him, and they're eating food and shit like that, you know? Like, so the monster's really truly living, you know?
Yeah.
And you get to see that humanity, that's there, but yet uncontrollable humanity, I guess. And then you have the bride, which the bride is fucking awesome. One of the coolest, most iconic characters besides Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You know, in the entire universe of any of that stuff, which is fucking great. Yeah, I love that movie. People have written books about it. If you want a PowerPoint presentation, I could probably do one of those for you as well. But I won't dwell on it because everybody knows that movie is so influential in a way, like, more so than I think that any of those original ones were. You know, the Mummy, all that stuff like that. Even though the Mummy the original Mummy, the Karloff Mummy, was such a supernatural, awesome monster movie. You know, you have this really weird tone, and even the woman that was in that movie was a different kind of a different kind of a soul, you know?
Right.
Even for that time, you know? So it's really cool I love the Universal monster movies, and I will always hold those near and dear to my heart. But The Bride still is in my top 5 movies of all time.
Wow.
But, I really think that it's my number one monster movie, because I really consider that a monster movie.
Oh, 100%.
Think about all the people that went and saw those in the original part of it. And then think about all the people that were kids that saw them whenever they re-released them. Then think of all the other kids that were watching them on the Shock Theater.
Right.
And then think of our generation.
Right.
You know, we had those movies growing up, and they didn't ever fall out of favor. They never have.
Universal's
They never will.
trying to build its own thing again. We'll see what happens. Apparently, I didn't watch The Invisible Man. I know you were not a fan, but it did very well, so you know they're going to continue it.
It was an Invisible Man movie. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm sorry. There wasn't.
Was it Hollow Man 4?
No, Hollow Man was better.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw Hollow Man in the theater.
Yeah. Hollow Man was better.
Okay.
Hollow Man.
Hollow Man.
Hollow Man.
You gotta go watch the old Hollow Man.
Hey, I'm Kevin Bacon. Now I'm invisible. But that's my number one monster movie of all time is Bride of Frankenstein.
Right on. Good call. I like it.
Your number one?
My number one, sir, I'm sure I'm going to get some argument, maybe not from you, but I'm going to get some argument from somebody. Because my number one horror movie is not horror movie, my number one monster movie is The Thing.
Yep.
And it's my kind of monster movie. Because you know that the monster's there, but you don't know where the monster is. You never see it in a monster form so much, you know what I mean? Well, you do.
Only a couple of times.
Just a couple times.
Yeah.
And it's enough. It's enough to create that, obviously we did a whole episode on this show early on when we were doing the Apocalypse trilogy.
Yes.
And just a phenomenal movie and probably in my top 20 movies of all time for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's not a monster movie in the same realm of like a Frankenstein, I guess. But it's definitely a monster movie.
It shares, I think it shares a lot with, like, say, Tremors, Isolation.
Yeah.
A monster you don't know where it came from. Things like that. Now, you had a little bit of explanation on both of those. Now, with The Thing, you had this fucking alien space monster. You knew it was an alien space monster, but you also saw, like, the other camp that was destroyed.
Right.
Then the characters are so fucking bitchin' in this movie.
Absolutely.
Every character seems like they were fleshed out in the 2 seconds that you got to see them.
Absolutely.
Perfectly.
And then when you first get to see the monster of it, when the dog.
Oh my God.
That is so over the top, dude. It's awesomely over the top. You know what I mean? It's like just in your face, like this
You're completely
is fucking
freaked out.
Weird. Right?
It was just tremendous in seeing it fucking trying to escape through the roof.
Exactly.
And I'm like, fucking burn it. Everybody, just the reaction to that is so visceral and so real.
Agreed.
Every aspect of that movie is it's terror because you don't know who's the thing. You don't know when it's going to pop out again.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, how do they fucking stop it? All they have is fire for it, but that doesn't seem to kill it.
Right. Oddly enough, my number one, also a remake.
Yes. It's not a remake. I wouldn't say it's a remake.
So reimagining of an adaptation of the book?
Of a book. Yeah. The
Okay,
only thing.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Yeah. The only thing.
It's not a carrot.
Cause, yeah. The original thing, he was a head of lettuce. You know what I mean? It was weird. He lives off chlorophyll, more like borophyll.
What?
No, but I mean, fucking Keith David is the shit in it. Fucking
awesome. Of course, Kurt Russell.
Yep. King Kurt.
Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley.
The Beatus.
Everybody in that movie was fucking awesome. And like I said, it seems like in the 2 seconds that you get to see most of the characters, they are so fleshed out in a way that you could see those personalities out in the real world. You get to see people like that, and you're like, damn, that's awesome.
But they're all locked together in that small area. It's not like they have anywhere to go.
No.
Where do you there's no option.
Yeah, you're going to freeze to death if you go out there.
Exactly.
And the Thing knows that, so the safest place to hide, man is the safest place to hide.
That's right.
And it's fucking, they leave the ending so ambiguous that you don't even really know who the Thing is.
Absolutely.
Or who isn't the Thing.
Or if the Thing was killed.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You have no fucking idea, and you don't know what's going to happen afterwards either.
Right.
Which is fucking cool.
Which is okay because they didn't make another movie after this for another almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And then it was a prequel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what I hope. Sorry, it's late. What I hope is that they do a 2014 Thing re-release but and then add in the practical effects.
2011, right?
2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2011. I hope that they re-release it with what the original vision was.
I doubt they'll do that because they're going to have that remake that they just announced.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's going to happen. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. It wouldn't take any steam away because most people hate the 2011 thing.
Right.
I particularly like the characters in it. There's a couple of them. Like, but I really like the idea of seeing the first attack. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, seeing where it actually started, you know, which is pretty cool. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead or whatnot. Yeah, she's pretty fucking awesome, you know. But it was I thought it was a really cool movie, but the CGI ruined it. The one time that you could almost point to the CGI ruining everything except for Avatar. Fucking Avatar. You know, my wife made an Avatar joke the other day. It was great.
What? No way.
So we had to get a new vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, and my wife's fucking awesome. This is the most unexpected things is my wife has been throwing out these jokes that I usually say, and it's caught on after 15 years. And it's fucking great, right? So she's like, I need to go bond with my car. And I'm like, bond with your car? She's like, you know, take my ponytail out and then like hook their ponytail into it so we can kind of get to know each other. I'm like, oh, it's a fucking Avatar joke, huh? It's like, damn, that was good. And then I was mad at something the other day, just like, you know, like, and she was like, what? Don't look at Jack like he stole your cookies. I was like, God damn, that's mine.
That's my line.
How could it be fucking mad at you?
You
That's
stole
awesome.
my words.
But yeah.
So back to the thing real
Yes.
quick. There was, man, I don't even remember what year it came out. There was a video game of the thing.
Yeah.
It was a sequel.
Yep. It was on like PlayStation 2 or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Or Xbox original.
Yeah, I think I played it on PlayStation 2.
I wanted to play it, and I heard it was really good.
It's slow at the beginning. I
Yeah.
remember that. It's like a survival style game, so,
Yeah.
you know, as it would be, I guess.
Yeah. There's only 2 older video games now that I'd want to play, and that was the Land of the Dead, The Road to Fiddler's Green for the Xbox.
Okay.
Did
Did you say The Road to Fiddler's Green?
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of this game again?
Land of the Dead, The Road to Fiddler's Green.
Are those 2 separate games?
No, same thing.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Basically it's Land of the Dead, but you're in the George Romero zombie world.
Okay.
And you got to go to the Land of the Dead prime location, which is Fiddler's Green.
Okay.
So you got to get through all
I
that
thought you
shit.
meant like Denver, Fiddler's Green. You're going to go watch
Right,
watch a concert.
I always think about that. I'm like, huh. But no, and then the thing, and I'm part of a thing group too, online, and a lot of people are like, "Is this good?" And it's like, "Fucking play it." It's like the Alien Isolation game too. Yeah. So some people are actually, you know, making these really cool adaptations.
Yeah. I mean, I think that came out obviously PlayStation 2. I think it was 2001, 2002, something like that.
A long time
you know?
ago. Yeah, I'd still love to get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even
there are 2 PlayStation 2s. So
you know what? That's one thing that I've never owned is a PlayStation 2.
Really?
Never. Never had one. I had a PlayStation 1, but never had a 2.
I got lucky that when the PlayStation 2 kind of came out, I managed a video game store in Chandler, or actually in Gilbert, Arizona.
Wow.
I lived in Chandler, which was just a block away or so. But yeah, we didn't like we didn't give cash for stuff. And a guy came in trying to sell a PlayStation 2 with like, man, it had 5 or 6 games and like 4 controllers and 2 memory cards. I'm like, well, what are you looking for? And he's like, maybe $200. And I was like, why don't you meet me out in the parking lot? I went home with all that shit.
You know, it was funny though, because whenever I worked at the video game store, Game Exchange.
Oh.
That was right before the PlayStation 2 came out, and we were all like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so revolutionary!" You know? Yeah. So
we used to do Dead or Alive 2. I think it was 2, the one that came out on PlayStation 2. It's a fighting game.
Oh yeah.
We used to have tournaments with the guys from Hollywood Video because they were connected to us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Getting crazy.
Ours was really close to a Blockbuster.
Oh.
So a lot of people tried to, or at least one guy at the
Rent the game and bring it back in and trade it to you?
No, because back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, but Blockbuster had a book in Blockbuster. If you were looking for an actor, you could find the movie and it would tell you all of the actors in it.
No.
It was fucking badass, right? So I don't know how many fucking arguments I got in with this one person in particular where he'd be like, hold on. You know, it was like one of them I remember was Keith David. We were talking about something and I was like, oh yeah, he was in Platoon. And he's like, no, he wasn't. I was like, yeah, I think so.
Pretty sure.
So he walked all the way over there, looked it up. And he was like, yep, he was. But it was a book full of fucking, you could look up Platoon and you could see Charlie Sheen, this and that. And, you know, and I think it also had almost like book links, you know, to the other movies that they were in.
Okay.
So you could find like Wisdom with Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore and then connect that to everything else. It was fucking an awesome thing. I wonder if they still have those somewhere. Somebody's got to have one. The 88 version.
Yeah, somewhere you can buy one on an auction somewhere. You know, now I'm going to look.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
It was before computers, which was really awesome. So yeah, The Thing and Bride of Frankenstein are favorite monster movies of all time. Our number ones.
And I'll watch any of those top 5 of either of ours. They're both all 10 of those movies are awesome.
I have 2 honorable mentions.
Oh.
And the only reason why I'm going to bring up one of these is because it's fucking stupid, is Basket Case. Wow. Yeah, that movie was a true monster movie too.
Sure.
Because it was a weird thing because his little brother was a monster.
Yes.
Or his twin. His twin little brother. But my most honorable mention for monster movies is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. That was Rachel Weisz's debut pretty much on the scene. She was awesome in that movie. But the Arnold Vosloo's Mummy, fucking badass. You know, they could have. What was so fun 100%. About that one? It was a fun popcorn kind of a, you know.
It was a
blockbuster.
It was kind of Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we really loved.
Fraser.
It. Yeah, because the Mummy in that one, he was pretty wicked. Once you get to the Mummy 3, ugh, God. They even replaced Evie in it, and it was like, why would you even do it? The Mummy 2 was cool. Because it had The Rock in it in his first starring role.
Yes, as the Scorpion King.
Yeah, the Scorpion King. But this Mummy was fucking awesome, dude. I really liked it too, but it's not going to make my top, even though I can watch that movie anytime. Anytime, anywhere. Anytime, anywhere. This is a good movie too. But that's
funny. You mentioned Basket Case, and automatically with the other one that popped in my mind was It's Alive.
Oh, yeah, with the weird fucking milk baby. The weird teeth and
comes
shit.
Comes out, starts killing everything right away.
Yeah, it like kills the doctor and the nurse.
And that thing was definitely a monster.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then didn't they have like It's Alive Island?
Yeah, they had It's Alive, It's Alive 2, and then Island of the Alive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does that woman keep having babies? What the fuck?
I never saw. I don't know. I think I saw the second one probably, but not the third one. I don't watch Island of anything. Fuck that.
Except for Dr. Moreau.
Well, depends on what version we're talking about. But normally what I see is if they take a normal movie that I like and then it gets to an island, I'm done. That's kind of where I'm like, I'm fucking out.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it starts out on an island, we're fine. You know what I mean? But maybe.
Except for Fantasy Island. Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen that because you said it was terrible.
Don't watch it.
Yeah. No Ricardo Montalban, so whatever.
Nope. And the reveal at the end. Why do they call you that? Well, because it's my name, boss. Gave it away. Yeah. So there's a lot of good monster movies out there. But honestly, if you're listening to this and you've gotten all the way through it, and you have a monster movie that we haven't mentioned or one of your favorite monster movies, send us your top 5 favorite monster movies.
Absolutely.
Really. Open us up, to more dialogue on the interwebs because we're at www.dropculture.com. And if you go there, you can email us. You could drop a line.
Just drop us a line right from it.
Yeah, straight from there. You could sign up for our mailing list, which is like so big right now that we don't have a lot of space. So get in there while it's hot.
Absolutely.
And be on the first round of, before we max out our capacity.
Absolutely.
Then we'll start a Patreon.
They'll ask for money.
It's coming. But there's all kinds of fun stuff to do on there. For one, you can listen to past episodes that we got on there. We got links to all of our friend shows, like the Not For Everyone podcast. We have links to our, friends' music places like Anonymous Collective Records, Stir the Pot. Glenn's doing fantastic things over there. He likes monster movies too. Everybody does.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
And this episode and subsequently a lot of the other episodes are going to follow this and that are before this are all sponsored by Holy Smokes and Feather Speeds. Now, Holy Smokes is and this is our kind of little commercial here. Holy Smokes is the actual food truck that turns food into an event, which is crazy.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you're there in Amarillo, Texas, and you're there on a weekend, if you look up Holy Smokes Amarillo, Texas, you're going to find out where they're going to be at, mainly in a parking lot. They're going to make it an event. You need to stop. You need to eat that food while it's there. Cause it's like our mailing list.
I kind of like, and of course they do great barbecue. They do all that, but I kind of like their themes, like they're doing the state fair.
Yeah.
Since there's not a state fair, they're bringing all the state fair food out.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then also, of course, Feather Speeds. So for that one-of-a-kind gift that you really want to give somebody special, or if you just want to get yourself something special, you go on there, you say, hey, that looks pretty cool. Yeah. I'm going to do it. It's better than Amazon because it's actually homemade. It's made by hand, lovingly by hand, by somebody that really enjoys doing it. So, hit us up on everything. Really, we're on all the socials.
We're on all the socials. And, I know you're not familiar with this sponsor, but we got a new breath spray, called Mataint.
I've been using Mataint for a long time. And, there's so many, my wife, for one, she's in love with Mataint.
Well, there's nothing
crazy.
fresher than Mataint.
I know. It's a crazy thing because it is fresh daily,
Every day. Yeah. Fresh Mataint.
I fucking love it. I love it. I'm going to have to go back.
Next time you're going to grab the Banaka, whatever it might be, just grab Mataint. Grab Mataint, put it in your mouth.
Well, it comes in one flavor. It's Mataint. Mataint is a ancient Chinese secret that nobody is releasing, and you can get it at all the fine retailers like Walgreens, CVS pharmacies, and at Ace Hardware for some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weird reason.
And Mataint hasn't been available for a long time. I can't even get through it.
Mataint's always been. Mataint's been there since the beginning of time.
But it's really, there's been a resurgence of Mataint. Recent resurgence of Mataint.
I can't stop. Oh, it's going to be hard to edit. Oh, but it's going to be worth it. So go visit your local Menards to get one of those fresh pints of Mataint that you can spray in your mouth.
Yeah, you can also get it at Big R.
And thanks, Mataint.
Sorry, that was just off the top of my
That
head.
was fucking awesome. Mataint. I didn't even see that shit coming. We got a breath spray. It's called Mataint. Oh, God. Oh, that's a good one. Mataint.
Yeah, you can just go to mataint.com. At Mataint. on Twitter.
We're on Facebook at Mataint. We're on Instagram at Mataint. And they have their own website, mataint.com.
And it's weird because sometimes you can't get the exact thing that you want, so it's actually at Fresh Mataint.
God damn it, I can't stop everything you say. It's making me fucking crack. All right.
Four?
No, Hollow Man was better.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw
than
Hollow
that.
Man in the theater.
Yeah. Hollow Man was better.
Okay.
You know, Hollow Man.
Holloman.
Holloman.
You gotta go watch the old Holloman.
Hey, I'm Kevin Bacon. Now I'm invisible.